All right, so it's something a little bit different today, and if you're going to notice, there is a coefficient, that is a number being multiplied to the x squared value. Note, for quadratic form, x squared, x, no x. Does everybody see that? You're not looking up there. Chris, not looking up there. X squared, x, no x. You need to know that because this is the A term, the B term, and the C term. It's not always, if these are mixed up, it doesn't mean that's still A, B, and C. The square term is the A, the x term is the B, and the non-x term is the C. You're going to need to know this because we're going to do quadratic formula in about 3 days time before we leave for break. So here's the problem. We can't take this last term and just split it up. And there's a reason for that. It's because that 3 now is causing us a problem. So we're going to take this 3 to our last term and we're going to multiply it. So times 3 times 2 is 6. That is the term we are now going to factor. So I know I can start with 1. 6 divided by 1 is 6. Can I get 5 from 6 and 1? Yeah, if I subtract 6 and 1, I get 5. So I put my parentheses here. Here's another important part, guys. See that 3? That 3 needs to go right here. And we need to put 6 and 1 and then our variable. So that 3 came down. We did our 6, we did our 1, we did our x's. Now we're going to do the same thing. We have a plus here, right? On that last term. So we're either going to be plus plus or minus minus. We look at the other term. What is it? So both of them are going to be what? Plus. All right, we're not done because we have to deal with this 3. So what we're going to do with this 3 is we're going to divide each one of our factors by 3. All right? We take it and we move it and we put underneath each factor and divide by 3. Now, here's the point. I'm going to put my parentheses here again. 6 divided by 3 is what? 2. That's a perfect whole number, right? So we're going to put x plus 2. Now, don't put your x here because what is 1 divided by 3? No, it's not. What's 1 divided by 3? 3 is 3 divided by 1. You have to go by the top to the bottom. What'd you get? You got a fraction. It's a decimal. It doesn't work. So what you're going to do is take that 3 and throw it in front of the x and put the 1. Why do we do that? Because it doesn't come out to be a perfect number. 6 divided by 3 is 2, but 1 divided by 3 is 0.3333 repeating. So it doesn't come out to be a whole number. So I throw the 3 back in front of the x and I bring down the 1. Now I'm going to set them to 0. So x plus 2 equals 0 and 3x plus 1 equals 0. Now this is where you're going to find out why Mr. Chavez just didn't say make that a negative 2. Because we need to subtract 2 from both sides, right? X equals, and 0 minus 2 is negative 2. But it's different over here, isn't it? Because we have to deal with this 3 now. So what we're going to do is subtract 1 from both sides of the equation. We're left with 3x, not just x. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. How do we get rid of the 3 now? We're going to need to divide by 3. Our 3's are gone. We have x equals, well, we're just going to keep that, negative 1 over 3. We are going to end up with fractions today. Our foe, our enemy, fractions. What's that? Did I miss something? Oh, did I? Oh, I know why. This is one of those ones. There are outliers. That's a good one. I'm glad that that happened. Okay, let's take this. 2 times 1 is what? 2. And if we add them together, we get, this is an outlier. Guess why? Let's look at the other factor of 6. 2 and what? 2 and 3, right? Can I also get 5 from that? Yeah, this is where a problem comes in, because some of these, and I'm going to leave this in the video because this is really good. Some of these, it happens that 2 factors can equal 5. Well, unless we check this by putting these numbers in here, you don't know which one it is, and that's an issue. And I know if you put the -2 in here, -2 squared is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Minus 10 is 2. Plus 2 is 4. It doesn't work. What I did is I took that -2 and I put it back in the equation for the x, and it doesn't come out to be 0 equals 0. So let's look at this. What about this 3 and 2? So this is not the answer that's on there. So let me get another piece of paper, because I am going to leave this. That'll happen. I thought I took all those out of there, but I guess I didn't, but it's okay. I'm glad it happened. So again, 3 times 2, right, is 6. We knew it was 6 and 1 will get us 5, and 3 and 2. The 6 and 1 doesn't work. We tried it, it didn't work. So we have the 3 in front. We'd use the 3 and the 2. The x. We know it's plus, and that's plus, so it's plus plus. So we got that far, right? We need to take the 3 and divide everything by 3. You guys can just watch this. You've got your notes on there, whatever. Or if you want to do it again, it's fine. 3 divided by 3 is what? What's 3 divided by 3? 1. 2 divided by 3, guys, doesn't work. It's a decimal. It's 0.666 repeating. So we put the 3 back in front of the x and the 2. We do the same thing. Subtract 1. X equals -1. We subtract 2 from both sides of the equation. 2's are gone. We have 3x equals -2. We divide by 3. X equals -2 over 3. Now that's what's on your sheet. The only way you're going to find out if you have a double situation is if you take it back. Now, if I take that -1 and I put it up here, -1 squared is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. -1 times 5 is -5. -5 and 3 is -2. -2 plus 2 is 0, and 0 equals 0. This is our right answers. The other ones, the 1 and 6, didn't work. If we had more time, I would have you guys checking your answers. But right now, all I care about is that you know the process of how to do this. We just don't have the time. With COVID, we lost so much time. This is something we should have been dealing with months ago, okay? So, does everybody understand what happened there? The 1 and the 6 didn't work. If you do this and get to the end, and you think that your work all went right, let me know, or leave it and just put a circle around it, or a big question mark, like, okay, I think I did this right, but I didn't get the right answer. Because this situation could happen where you have 2 sets that actually work. So let's go to number 2. I'm glad that popped up. I didn't even look at the answers, Romeo. Thanks for pointing that out. All right. So once again, we're going to take that front number, multiply it by the third number. So our first term times our second term, we have 2 times 15 is 30. And we need to find 2 factors that equal 13. So we know if we divide 30 by 1, we get 30. Use your calculator. 30 divided by 1 is 30. We know it's even, so we can do 30 divided by 2, which is 15. 30 and 1, if we add, it's 31. Subtracted to 29, it's not giving us 13. However, 15 and 2 will give us 13, right? We may want to look, I don't know if there's any other ones, 3 and 10. Well, we do, 3 and 10. I'm going to tell you, I know it's this one because I looked at the answer. It's the only way you can get -5 is using that set. So again, if you use the 2 and the 15, I'm not going to get upset. I rather you know the process. We can work on other ways to figure it out right away. But I gave you the answer, and if you look at the answers, the answer sheet, -5 is one of the answers. The only way to get -5 is if I take that 2 and divide it by 10, I get 5. If I take 2 and divide 15, it doesn't work out. If I take 2 and divide it to 2, I get 1. 1 is not one of your answers. So that's one way you can check it to see if that works. So I take the 15 divided by 2, it doesn't work, it's a decimal. I take 2 divided by 2, I get 1. Look at your answers. If 1 is there or -1 or 1 is there, then you can use it. But I took the 10 and divided it by 2 and I get 5. Well, -5 is an answer. I'm going to use this set. So there's an easy way to do it. So our 2 in front, we're going to put our variable. We're going to put our 10 and our 2. We have a positive, so it's either going to be plus plus or minus minus. Since this one is positive, they're both going to be positive, plus plus. All right. We are going to take that 2 and divide each one of them. That's what I just did, didn't I? In my head. Divide each one of them by 2. I'm sorry. This is a 3. I put 2 down there. It's a 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 3 divided by 2 is a mixed number, 1 over 1 and 1 over 2, or 1.5. So we are going to put the 3 in front of the, or I'm sorry, that's a 2. Getting all mixed up today. Put the 2 in front and put plus 3. So that 2 slid out in front. So we have n plus 5 equals 0 and 2n plus 3 equals 0. Subtract 5 from both sides, you get n equals -5. You subtract 3 from both sides. 3 minus 3 is gone, left with 2n. 0 minus 3 is -3. And to get rid of the 2 in front of the n, you need to divide by 2. Guys, we're going to leave it as a improper fraction. All right? Don't take -1 and 1/2 or -1.2 or 1.5. Leave it as a fraction. Your calculator will leave it that way here, but some of your calculators at home won't. It'll actually work it out. My calculators will leave you at -3 over 2. So try that. I'll give you a second to write that down here. If you need it, I have it. All right, number 3. I'm going to do that little trick too again. So we need to take the 5, that front number, the first term times the second term. 5 times 8 is 40. So we know always 40 and 1, right? Because 40 divided by 1 is 40. Is that going to give me 41? Yeah, it will. So let's check it. What's 40 divided by 5? 8. Look at your answer sheet. Is -8 on there? Yeah, so that's what we're going to use. It works. So we're going to put the 5 in front of our parentheses. Set it to 0. K is our variable. And our factors are 40 and 1. This one, all the examples I gave you are all positive, positive. So I don't know why. If this is plus, then they're either plus plus or minus minus. This one happens to be plus, so they're both plus. I might skip and go to 5 because I want another example. Yeah, I want an example of, or I might go to 6, but we'll figure it out from here. All right, so what am I doing with that 5 in the front? Yeah, I'm going to use it and divide each one of them by it. So we said 40 divided by 5 was 8. However, 1 divided by 5 on your calculators here are going to come out 1 over 5, right? So what we're going to do is take that 5 and throw that in front of the K and leave the 1. Does everybody understand what I did here? Anybody not understand that? If it doesn't come out to be a perfect whole number, you need to throw the bottom number in front and leave the bottom one. So that's all I did. Because 1 divided by 5 is going to be, what, 0.2? Probably on some your calculators at home, it's probably in 0.2 unless you have a better calculator that leaves it in improper fractions. So then I just break that up. Because they're each equal to 0, I'm going to set each equal to 0. This one's also equal to 0. So I subtract 8 because I want to get K by itself. It's isolating the variable. 0 minus 8 is negative 8. I'm going to get rid of that 1 first. My opposite operations are gone. I'm left with 5 times K, and then I have 0 minus 1 is minus 1. And then I divide. To get rid of 5 times K, I need to divide by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1 times 1 is just K. And we have negative 1 over 5. It's not going to work. It didn't work here. It's not going to work here, okay? And if you check your answers, it's right there. All right, I'm not going to do number 4. I'm going to skip all the way to number 6. So I need to write it down. All right, first things first. The first term times the second term. 5 times 7 is 35. I know it's negative 35, by the way, but we're going to just use its absolute value. We need 34, guys. First number we divide by. 35 divided by 1 is 35. Can I get 34 out of that? Yeah, I can. We need to check it. 35 divided by 5 is what? 7. Is 7 one of the answers? Yes, it is. So we're good. Either 7 or negative 7 because it depends. So we need to use this set. We don't need to go on. So I put the 5 down, put my parentheses, because this whole thing is equal to 0. Your factors will be equal to 0. Where our variable is r. Our factors are 35 and 1. Guys, this is negative, right? So the only way it could be is a positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive. They have to be opposites. I look at this one for my big number. This one is negative. My big number is going to be what? Negative. My other number has to be the opposite. All right? Chris, I think you had a couple of issues with that one. Most of them you had right. I think a couple of times, Mr. Scheiss, you had a couple of them that were just in a little bit of on that. So just make sure you understand how we did that, and you and I can work on that later. You're really good at them. Don't get frustrated. It's just every once in a while, I think on this particular row, you weren't sure which one to put in there. So, and that's okay. We'll get there. You guys are excellent in here. You guys doing, I have to say, you did a really good job on factoring. So what are we gonna do with the 5 now? Yep, each one's gonna get divided by that 5. So negative 35 divided by 5. -7, right? 1 divided by 5, it's your calculator's gonna come back up as here is gonna be 1/5. So it doesn't work. It's not a perfect whole number. So we're gonna toss that 5 in front of the R. We're gonna put the 1 down, set them to 0. Well, since each factor equals 0, we're gonna set them to equal 0 and solve them. We're isolating the variable, so we want to do opposite operations. So we're going to add 7 because -7 plus 7 is 0 or gone. 0 plus 7 is 7. We need to get rid of the 5 and the 1. Well, we get rid of what's added or subtracted first. So we're going to subtract 1, the opposite of it. So +1 minus 1 is 0 or gone. We have 5 times r. And then 0 minus 1 is -1. And finally, to get rid of that 5, since it's multiplied, we divide. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1 times r is just r. And when we do this, it just stays as it is. We're not going to use decimals, guys. So leave it as an improper fraction. Don't worry about the numbers, use the process, okay? Worry about the process, not the numbers. Bye, guys at home.